Good evening and welcome to the Orleans Hotel and Casino. We're proud to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of this year's National Finals Tonight show. Brought to you in part by Cinch, Prefert, Crown Royal Vanilla, Absolute, Bullet Bourbon, Jameson, 14 Hands Wines, Bud Light, Ram Rodeo, Neutrina, Boot Barn, Montana Silversmiths, Cactus Saddles, Big Tex Trailers, Resist All Hats, American Cowboy Magazine. National Finals tonight with 8-time world champion bull rider Don Gay, 8-time world champion cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Hi, everybody. Welcome tonight to the Orleans, to National Finals tonight. This is our 10th year of doing this show, and we are honored to have you here with us this evening. A lot of good guests to come out and visit and talk with you here. And how many went to the rodeo tonight? Very many of you were there tonight. It's just the best, isn't it, huh? Let's get these guys out here and get this show started. They're both 8-time world champions that you know very well. This first guy I've been working with now for 30 years doing television, and we're still doing that. And I just have no other way to say I love this guy. 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay. Donnie, come on out here. How are you? Good.
Don't look at me that way.
Well, we've been together a long time, so I just look at you differently. That's what that deal is. Let's get our other fella out here. He's also an 8-time world champion and our co-host, and I know he is bearing gifts, so let's get him out here and be ready because he'll throw him out there in the audience. 8-time world champion Joe Beaver is here tonight. Joe.
Big
Joe. Hey, Joe.
Catch him.
Who's ready? You didn't. Little boy in the hat. Little boy in the hat.
Oh, that was pretty good one there.
You still got it, Joe. You still got it.
Never did hit the little boy in the hat. Sorry, I got one for you after. Kind of like my roping.
Joe, tell them what's in the bag and show them what's on your hat.
Oh, we have Neutrina T-shirts, and then we have the blue feathers. It is Hope Counts. A little girl started that. It's for the families of injured rodeo contestants, and I bought 2 big bags of them today, and we're going to give them away. And if you wear them and support it, she's a smart little girl with a great cause.
Joe Beaver is a good guy.
He's done lots of good.
He has
for
done
lots
lots
of
of
folks.
good. You know, we talked a little bit last night, you guys. This rodeo has sold out over 301 now consecutive performances. It's the toughest ticket, literally, in Las Vegas. $10 million in prize money to this. Donnie and I were talking, and he just showed me before. We were talking about his dad last night being 90 years of age. Somebody asked a question, how's Neil Gay look so good? I didn't know he rode out there and he's on the horse last night and announced the deal. Let's get it started.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was never... I worried a little bit about how he was going to handle just getting out here and getting around. I mean, it's hard on everybody, when you stay out, 5, 6, 7 days in Las Vegas. But being a horseback, I never really worried about him at all. I went to help my brother pen livestock about a month ago. And so I go over and I get a horse out of their barn and I get saddled up and I ride out, and the first person I run into is my dad. And he looked at me and he said, man, they're dragging the bottom of the barrel out here now, aren't they? And
90 years old, still doing it out there. Hey, we want to tell you if you have a question that you would like to ask either Donnie or Joe or anybody up here on the panel, you can text that to us, and the number is coming across the screen up there, and that'll be available all during the show. We'd love to have your questions come up here. Also, the show is on YouTube on the Boyd Gaming Rodeo channel. So if you'd like to check it out when you get back home and see what we're doing up here. As I mentioned, $10 million in prize money this year. Round 2 is in the books. And if you didn't get a chance to be there or watch it on television tonight, Donnie and Joe are doing the telecast. Great rodeo. Let's talk about the winners. First of all, gentlemen, if you will do it live for us. This is round number 2, starting with the bareback riding. Let her rip, Donnie.
All right, well, we had a tie in the bareback riding for the winners. 2 guys, Clayton Bigelow, and he's got a horse from the Rafter G Rodeo. That's my daddy's company. Jim Gay, my brother Pete back there flanking. Ankle Biter's the name of this bucking horse. This is a great ride until the finish, and then it doesn't look too good. Lost a little bit of control points. That might have been why he tied for first place. 85 points. made a good ride, but this is a young horse, a new one that we've had for a year, and he just gets better and better and better. Clayton Bigelow makes a great ride, and in the bareback riding, even when it's good, it's bad.
Yeah.
But he tied with Tim O'Connell. Betty Boop is the bucking horse, and this is a picture-perfect ride. I actually thought that he might win first by himself.
A point ahead.
Because he rode the horse, you know, they marked the horse for degree of difficulty, all of that, but you have to make a great ride, and he made as good a spur ride. Watch him hold all the way back to the rig and hand hold. This is, I mean, that was just outstanding.
Yeah, that was first place, I thought. In the steer wrestling, tonight the steers were very strong, ran hard. We saw lots of guys not getting by. Jason Thomas comes in number 2, first NFR. This is what this kid does. He throws good steers fast. Watch how far he runs this steer. 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. Long reach. Hazer does a great job. When he gets his feet on the ground, sets that steer up, rocks him off the hip, he wins the go-around. He came in number 2 in the world. Watch out for him. In a team roping, this guy,
what'd we say?
This was nasty. Luke Brown, watch this. Y'all, when he dallies, in case you're wondering, he's got both hands on his rope for a reason. He had no more rope left. The steers are big, big horns. One swing over the chute. Watch the clock back there. 0.1, he's got it on him. Long loop. Now, this is the heel horse of the year, and this is why. This horse almost got pushed a step by. He squared up. Jake Long ropes 2 feet. Wins the day money 4 flat.
Okay, so, you know, you can come to the national finals. You can be a rookie. You can be 18 years old. This is the eliminator pin. He won round 1. He's going to win round number 2. This is, you know, a game of attrition tonight in the saddle bronc riding because we were throwing them off right and left and pretty quick. Normally, it's not all that tough in the saddle bronc riding, but tonight, Rider Right earned every one of those 86 points, and that was E for effort right there. But that family is amazing.
Youth, that's youth. Tie down roping, our Brazilian wonder, Marcos Costa. And last night, he was very timid. He was very lucky. He missed one and the roping gods put it on for him. Tonight, he shows why he came in number 1 in the world. That's what Marcos Costa does. He ropes really good. Look how strong. Watch him hold that slack. Turns this is a big pin, turns him around. Watch when he flanks. The kid's front end comes up, it never touches the ground again until it has a string on the front foot. If he ropes like this the rest of the week, he's got a chance to be the first Brazilian world champion in the time he's been in, Marcos Costa. That's what you got to do every night.
He has got a great attitude.
Oh, yeah. Last night he was a little nervous, but tonight, barrel racing, this is a tough go-around. 1379 wins first, 1386 wins sixth. Kimmy Wall comes in here. She's decorated up, color coordinated, but the best part about what she's doing is that horse underneath her. You talk about work tonight, winning the first barrel, get your victory lap.
All right, rookie bull rider, Roscoe Jarbo. He's now 2 for 2. Great bull ride right here. This bull turns back, bucks. That's a 23-point bucking bull right there. Getting it on Cooper's Comet, they call that bull. He lost control, had to look, get the time on the, you see the judge on the back of the chute, right up there with the stopwatch. Gets it for 8 seconds, so it's 7.8 seconds. He's losing some control right here. He guts it out, gets the whistle. 88.5, and he's 2 for 2, and just a rookie, but a good kid.
What do you always say? Don't look out at 7, 8, ride them 8 as long as you can. That won that boy the go-around.
That's exactly right.
Good job, you guys, doing that live for you. Tomorrow, some of these contestants are going to be sore already, Donnie. So I've put together just a short little rec reel for you, and especially in the bareback riding, you and I have talked about it for years and years. It ain't over till it's over. So some of these guys might be a little sore tomorrow. Let's take a look at this if we could.
Well, you go back, you'll see the ride you saw in the bareback riding, and a lot of people didn't even notice how hard he hit the ground, and it ain't over till it's over, especially in the bareback riding. But you see that Clayton Bigelow riding ankle biter of my dad's. This is a great ride, but here's this finish. Check this out. Hand comes out, you know, you're smashing the ground. I don't care if you're still a 20-something. This is getting tough.
All right, in the steer wrestling, Cody, he just had a hard time tonight. You know, and Donnie says it all the time, that horse makes a big move right there. You got one horn. When a steer is on top of you and you're supposed to be on top of the steer throwing him, it's hard to look cool. Cody right here, he's got a hope. Look, he's got him, but when you get 600 pounds falling on your right arm behind your back, it's worse being arrested.
Okay, Scotty Knapp, he's going to try to ride this bull, but watch this. Yeah, you can put on a helmet, you can put on a vest, but if you get in the wrong spot, you're going to pay. I mean, right there, he is out colder than a cucumber. Watch this. Jumps out of there, and he's back. And I knew he was in trouble, but I didn't know how bad. Just whacked him right in the face mask and knocks him out. You know, stone sober is the
only
bull's
thing
name.
you get a shaving mark, and he gonna look like a waffle hit him tomorrow, because that mask is gonna be right up in his face.
Well, they asked me today, Jeff Metters was talking.
This is a great question.
You know, and he says, well, we need to do a feature. You need to do a feature on the evolution of bull riding helmets.
Now, y'all got to know, first of all, Don Gay hates a lot of things, but he hates a helmet, too. Okay? He rode in hats, and I'm kind of like him, but he hates a helmet. So Jeff, Butch, I, and Donnie are on a four-way. We all listen to this. Jeff says, hey, Donnie, you know, we need to do a special on the helmet, the evolution of the helmets, and how good they look now. And Sage's look so good. Used to look like his dad's football helmet. Now it looks like, you know, and there's dead silence. So I go to pushing on my deal.
For me, that's hard to do.
I go to talking to Butch. I said, this is going to be great. Donnie's not going to answer. He's just going to skip it. So after about 3 or 4 count, Donnie says, well, you better find somebody that wears one of them, because I never wore one of those damn things, so I don't really know.
Well, we're going to talk to somebody that wears one and wears it pretty.
And
dang
he can
well.
do the interview, can't
and
he?
he can do the damn interview. You know, I just I consider them like flak jackets in football. Now everybody wears them. Roger Staubach wouldn't be caught dead, you know, in a building in public with one. You know, Dan Marino wouldn't go on the field without one. You know, so it's what you grow up with, what you get used to, and
You got to admit they do look better, though.
well, you know, if you don't ride good.
Hey, so this is for Jeff Metters. He ain't going to admit it, and he ain't going to do the special.
Look, damn it, if you're going to spend most of your time underneath one, put on a damn body cast, you know? But like Scotty Knapp right there, you know, when that bull reared him over backwards, I mean, I've had that happen to me a number of times, and when it came, you know, when it's right there, you know, I put my hand out and turned my head and got off.
You didn't get whacked in the waffle face.
I'm not going to lay there and take it. I'm just not. And you know, and in bull riding, if you're going to make a living, if you don't ride good enough to take care of yourself, then you're not very good. So
you see why this was such an interesting question?
Well, what
right
I know,
before the opening.
What
I
I
mean,
know
we're
is it's
we're
not
about to go
done.
on live television. I said, nope, I ain't doing it.
I'm telling you, it's just a dead, y'all, and it's not, when there's a dead zone, you know, on TV, when there's,
Oh, yeah.
all you hear the producers is, who's not hearing me? Who's not hearing me? I was like, they're hearing you. Donnie's not answering. He's hearing you.
Donnie, we have some special guests with us tonight from Cody, Wyoming, the Cody Stampede Rodeo, the board. How many guys are here tonight from Cody? Do we have Mike out there? Mike, are you here? The president? I can't see him out there.
All right.
Where's he at?
Hi, Mike.
Right back there. Mike is the president
They
of the
got a great
Stampede
rodeo,
board there
Cody
in
Stampede, July 1st through the 4th, and want to get Western, come visit.
Mike also owns the Irma Hotel up there, too, so he can take care of all your needs in there, from rodeos to rooms.
Has been, yes,
It's
he
a
has,
wonderful thing, yeah. You know what I wanted to mention last night? Each round has a record for the highest rank, highest scored ride or the best time or anything. And I forgot to mention last night, Donnie, in round 1 here at the National Finals Rodeo, Donnie Gay still holds the record for round 1 with 94 points, along with Blue Stone. And what year did you do that in, Donnie?
Here you go. Here you go. 1, 2,
1974.
I knew you would know, right on the nose.
Number 9 Tiger went to the left.
Yep, 94 points.
Can't remember what he had for breakfast, but he remember that bull.
Let's get our first guest out here. Shall we do that? This young man, world champion, and had a great round last night. And Joe Beaver said, let's get this guy out here. And he has just showed up back there. So let's welcome world champion tie-down roper Shane Hanchy is here tonight. Shane.
All right.
Come on, Shane.
Yay!
I sang. I see a couple of guys got the memo.
He told me that I was coming on the show, so I said, what color shirt you wearing?
He said, he really asked, what color's Donnie wearing? He just didn't want to match you.
These big, rough, tough calf ropers.
At least we don't wear damn helmets.
Shane, welcome back. It's so good to have you here with us. 7-time NFR qualifier and world champion, and it's looking pretty good for you so far this year. I can't think you came in 5th here, and talk about so far.
Yeah, last night we got it off rolling pretty good, how I wanted to. Tonight was a little bit of pilot error, but you have that every now and then. But last night was fun.
That. We've had a tough week in the airplane.
Sorry.
I wanted to, if you'd got here earlier, I had a doctor out back because Donnie and I were going to check you and see if you've ever been vaccinated, because tonight something happened and there was a freeze of the brain and the muscles and you couldn't find your string, and it went from being 6'8" to 8 real quick. What happened?
Well, for me, it kind of, I don't know about y'all too, but it was all happening in slow motion for me. I don't know if ever when you was riding bulls or when you was really zoned in.
It was always slow motion for me.
But no, it was just like kind of a blur until I flanked her. And then when I strung her, I was like, what you said on the broadcast, just tie her and win the round again. And I kind of thought that, and by that time, my string was up in my face, and I was like, well, this ain't going to work. I need to figure out how to get this around the legs. And I was just,
Well, let's do this, Shane. Let's take a look at last night first.
Yeah,
he wins the
last night was
round
about
last
a good
night,
run
and
as
then
you
we'll
can
take a
make.
look at tonight. So, Colin, let's take a look at what he did in the first round here.
All right, I'm going to say the two things that I thought were really impressive last night. You took a run at the barrier, you got it on him fast, you got him around the neck, you stood him up where it was fast and easy, and how good did it feel to get that win on and get back on your old horse here and just go at him?
No, it felt awesome. The one thing right there that stuck out in my mind was, like Joby said, I nailed the barrier and had a chance, 2 swings, but the calf tried to make a move on the end of the rope, and I thought I did a pretty good job of being patient last night and getting my flank set up for my tie, to where tonight I wasn't patient for whatever reason, and I kind of rushed things once I got my hands on the calf. So it was just
Well, it's one of those deals where people always think the faster they hit the ground, the faster you can tie them, and it's not right.
Can I see that run one more time? Okay, so I want to show you the one thing that I thought was the best thing about this. Okay, so I'm not going to say a whole lot while he ropes and ties the calf, but I want you to watch when he walks back. Now, when he steps over the rope, right there, he is, that looks like to me, the Shane Hanchy that I know is like, we get to watch that the rest of the week. That confidence,
Tap off.
because that looked good. Another day at the office for me, that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's that inner confidence that you've always had.
Well, and look how slow it looked. Honestly, you talk about slow motion. He never got in a bind. It's just like he was talking about last night, Joe Frost. If he'd ever panicked and overrode right there, the bull bucked him off first round. If Shane ever panics right there, but watch, he gets him a swing off, one over the barrier, around the neck, and then it's just, hey, you know what? I've done this all my life. But right here, that looks like it takes forever, but it doesn't, because he turns the calf and sets him up as he flanks him, so that allows him to tie fast. Tonight, things were happening like he said fast. He hit him, and the calf just kind of came off his leg and hit the ground, but Shane really wasn't where he needed to be to just run that string.
Well, already been a champion of the world. He's been roping since he was this big. When you come out here, last night's run versus tonight's run, it goes to show you just how hard it is to trust your training and not have a conscious thought. It's all a reaction from what you've been doing and training yourself to do, and it's always interesting, and it happens in every event.
Let's take a look at tonight's run. Shane, you can talk about that because it started very well.
Good.
Yeah, I had another calf that I really liked, and kind of missed my slack a little bit, but Rihanna had the calf over my lap really fast, and I got a pretty good flank on him. And then, to be honest with you, to be really critical, I thought the calf kind of sucked her top leg a little, and it made me kind of adjust my tie position. And when that happened, my string just popped up. Like, if you can see her top leg when I string her, and then it's just being really, really picky about this run, but I've never made a perfect run, so she kind of just, see the top leg, Joe B? She kind of just...
Yeah, you want to be really, really picky, though.
You
usually, when you hit, you're fully extended with your right leg with that toe straight up, and you got so much... And I talked about this today. We talked about tying the calves. I watched everybody tie. He usually hits, and his legs extended fully, and he mashes the legs down. A calf has no chance to kick. Shane and about 6 others. There's 7 or 8 guys here that'll let him get kicked. But right there, you're just a little bit of a bow in the knee, and you didn't really have all your pressure on him like you usually do. And that calf did stick a leg and tried to hide it back there behind your taint where you couldn't get the legs, really. That's the nicest way I can say it. But, I mean, you know, taint this, taint that, but it was kind of hidden back there.
And it took a long time for me to find it behind there.
Yeah, it'd have took a lot longer if he'd have got it bent just about that much further and stuck it right there.
Touche.
Still felt like 10 minutes.
It's a story of Donnie's life. What I want to do, Joe, your eye is still amazing to me, just amazing to me. I want to have Colin, let's pull up this picture.
Oh, these are my favorites.
And I want you to take a look at this picture, Shane, as well. We've talked about your horse last night, and this will kind of lead into it. But if you can pull that up, Colin.
Well, I counted it up. He's been here 7 times. I've been here 7 times. So, but
Tough rode him
twice, and yeah.
All right, check this out. Now, this side, which would be the left side, is at the National High School Finals Rodeo in 2006. Mm-hmm. The right side is 10 years later, this year.
Almost to the day.
At Ponoka, Alberta. And look at that horse. He's giving him the same go, and that boy's got the same go. You talk about a relationship right there, people. That doesn't happen very often.
No, that y'all would know more than I have. I've been following the sport for 27 years, and I've never heard of a guy riding a horse at a junior rodeo, junior high finals, high school finals, college finals, pro rodeo, but NFR 7 times, and I was able to win the world on him. That's pretty dang awesome.
It doesn't happen, but Buck Daniels, he's not here anymore, but he bred him and raised him, and Jason trained him, and when Shane took him, we all thought he was too young for Shane because Shane was young. Well, how old were you when you got him?
When I
15?
got him, yeah, I was 15.
And I told Jason then, because Jason rode him straight, and I was like, man, that's a great horse, but you're stupid. Because there's no way that Shane's going to keep, he's a 15-year-old kid. This horse is going to stay hooked. And just to say I was wrong, hard to do, but Jason, I was wrong. He did right.
Oh, my gosh, y'all heard it first.
He did right. And then this one knew more, and I thought he did too. And look at this. 10 years later, this horse is still just as good. And tonight, he gave you a chance to win. You could already had 50,000.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault tonight, that's for sure. But no, and one thing that this horse has helped me do, he's made a career for me. He's made me reach pinnacles and goals that I've only dreamed of watching you guys when I was able to watch y'all being little. But he's also made a career for my brother too. I mean, my brother trained this horse, and my brother trains horses for a living because he trained this horse.
This horse has sold $1 million worth of horses.
Exactly.
Because everybody, we know how hard that is, and you know how hard it is. Sometimes you buy horses, they're not what they say they are. One thing about this horse, he's proven that Jason knows what he's doing, and Shane's proved that he knows how to win and take them and go with them. So he's a career.
Shane gets an opportunity. He knows that when it's time to retire this horse, I saw his brother on a horse down there at Arcadia, I think it was last year.
Getting ready for something else.
There's some more horses coming.
I'll tell you something else that he's been smart with, and this is the last I'll do on the horse, but, when they get to this point, you don't ride them at every rodeo. You don't ride them at Arcadia. You may not ride them at Cleburne, but when it comes time for the big show, you bring them out, they hear the lights, the crowd, they love it. He walks in there like he's, somebody because he knows when the big show's up, and Shane knows he can rely on him.
That's what, like you said, I counted it up before the finals. I rode him at 14 places total this year. Not 14 calves, but 14 places. And I've won over 200,000 on him in them 14 places.
Yeah,
that's
awesome
pretty good.
Stuff. Now, I want to do this. Colin, let's get this other video. Since Joe has been critiquing you, Shane, this is what I've put together here. Slow this down, Colin, and roll this. And I want Shane to critique this slim fella roping calves here and tell us what you think. Now, this didn't happen yesterday. But
this is perfect.
No.
That's just right.
This guy wins first every time he covers one.
Go ahead,
that's
critique
pretty easy.
that.
No. This is Joe. I want.
Joe couldn't have got in those Wranglers when he was 3.
hey, I couldn't have got on those when I was on the power diet.
Colin, that's not it. No. We want Joe Beaver roping a calf here, and I want Shane to take a look.
Is it black and white?
Yeah.
I probably had to put the VHS in.
Yeah. There he is right
okay,
there.
so what is this, 96 or so?
That's 96, I
Yeah.
think, to win the all-around that night.
Yes, sir. There's a lot more beef on the end of the rope probably than when we roped tonight, and I thought we roped the big ones. That was probably the little pin then.
That was the little
There
pin.
we go.
Oh, here's where you got to have guts.
Yeah,
this
these
has
are
got to
the
have guts
Herefords.
right here. Ooh. That guy might cheat if he gets a chance, Shane.
No, that happened so fast I couldn't even break it down. So here's 96. Now this was something that I've kind of tried to emulate, but not really. But see how his first swing and his loop, I kind of, this week I started with a bigger loop, but not quite as big as Joe B used, but bigger for me. It's because I wanted to have some range this week, and that's something Joe B had his whole life, is he can pick them off wherever. And I knew that if I got to start every night out here, I could be in range, and because nothing good happens down there 3/4 of the way that I've come to realize. So
I thought tonight, really and truly, though, the tip saved you. The bigger loop saved you tonight because he talked about missing the slack just a little bit. Nobody even seen it if they don't know. Mm-hmm. But when you got a little bigger loop, the tip of your rope comes over the top of the calf. And that's what he said tonight. He missed his slack a little bit, but it didn't matter. A big loop has more curl to come over. And when he got off, he ought to tighten it out. Mm-hmm. If he has a little loop right there, the curl comes back, hits the shoulder, opens up. He's got him by the belly or back leg.
Yeah, and that's what something like, for me, for in this arena, I've seen Trevor, I've seen them guys open their loop up, and it's, almost less room for error. Or more room for error, I should say, because you can get them around there, and then, like you said, the bigger loop saved me tonight, and that's good for me.
Well, you're not going to win anything unless you can get your hands on them. So
that's right.
Those adjustments.
And there's two reasons we won't even win. One, he's a good kid, and two, he's a boy gaming, man. We got to have the team out there winning.
Yes,
we can't be messing around.
Shane's also got a real good chance of becoming $1 million Cowboy if you haven't already stepped over the top of that as well. So I think that's worth a round of applause as well.
Thank you.
One of the topping the $1 million barrier here. And Shane's a busy guy. They all are, but he was good enough to come visit with us tonight. And
I appreciate it.
And
maybe we'll talk one more time when you get close to that gold buckle.
That's the end goal, for sure.
It could happen. Give him a hand, will you? Shane Hanchy here this evening. Shane. I like that. Yeah.
Some of the inside stuff is always fun.
I like it. And I tell you, I still, and not because these guys are standing here, but you make this whole experience better for everybody. The eye that you have, Donnie, for rough stock, and Joe, unbelievable stuff. You know what happened, though, Joe? After you said that about his leg being straight, I watched your leg, and it was bent there, so I thought, well, Joe,
no, it bent the second time when I was old, not the first time. Now all they're going to be looking forward to see if they're sitting down or their taints up.
I wasn't watching for that. Joe, this second question here has come in. It says, how long are contestants allowed to practice in the Thomas and Mack before the WNFR begins?
They don't really get to practice. They break the cattle in. Monday, the tie-down ropers tie the calves down, and they run them breakaway one time. Then we get them run into the back.
They don't run out and rope them. They just tie them down.
They just
let them out on a rope.
They put a rope on them, turn them around time. Then they get a breakaway rope, and they rope them breakaway. They chase them out of their breakaway one time because the Thomas and Mack, when you're running the time event in, it's nothing but a yellow solid, bucking chutes and solid gates. And what calves and steers will do, they'll leave the chute, and if they've never seen a place to go beyond the gate, they'll get about 3-4 jumps and they'll start shadow boxing. So what they do is on Monday, they open the back gates and they leave the tunnel, the sliding door open.
Where there's a light.
Daylight. And they'll break away them one time so they'll learn to run straight away. And in the team roping, they do the same thing. On Tuesday, they'll run the team roping steers one time. And they cut. The other day, I bet they cut. The contract says 25 in each event. And they cut them down to 15 they use and 3 extras. And I bet they cut 5 or 6 team roping steers the other day because they would leave their box and they would get about 3-4 jumps and they would cut across in front. And in here, there's no room. You can't have it.
I think the team roping steers look better. They're bigger and healthier than I've seen in a long time.
I think the team roping steers need wraps off of them and the bulldoggers run them because they're number 1 horns. And the steer wrestlers, all they do is put them in the bucking chutes and they let them out one at a time and they lay them down just to make sure everything's good to lay down, and then everybody's out. The barrel racers get in early in the mornings to work them, but other than that, when it's over, it's over.
Good question. Thank you, Joe. Let's get this next young man out here. He is also a world champion, a two-time world champion and reigning world champion. In the bull riding, Sage Kimsey is here. Would you welcome Sage? Yes, sir.
All right. And he ropes calves too, pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that all around a little bit later, but we got to hit that subject too.
First, Sage Kimsey, let's all collectively tell you congratulations on your world championship. We haven't got to see you here since that happened. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a dream come true.
Number 2 after number 9.
That is a fact. It's just another hill on the way to the mountain.
I want to ask you this year, after winning 1 and after winning 2, did it feel any different to you this year?
It definitely did, because the trials and the tribulations were different in my second season. It was a whole new experience. It was a whole new setup, and everything was just different about that championship than it was about my first. Did it mean any less or any more? No, they both mean, everything to me. But it definitely was, the circumstances were so much different that, it was a total new experience.
What I noticed too this year with you when you came up to Cody over the 4th of July, this media thing is building with you, and I don't know if that's distracting to you. You're taking it in stride. The thing it's hard to realize when you're talking to Sage and how articulate. He's just 22 years old. He's 22 years old. Donnie and I's genes
Makes
are
me
older
sick.
than that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what it goes back to? Honestly, it's how you're raised.
Yes.
It's what you want. Donnie and I have talked about a lot of times on this stage, on TV and everything. If you have a desire and you want to be the best, I'm sorry, people out there, but a dumb person is not going to win in today's rodeo.
It's not going to win as much.
No, they're going to be the 15th guy. But it takes a smart person. It's planes, trains, and automobiles. And if you don't have an intelligence and you're not willing to be an intelligent seeking person, you're never going to be a world champion. And this is a prime example. This is 2-time, maybe probably 3, and sits and talks to us like he's been here 20 years. This is what the future is. It's not homeschooling, having your sister do it, and you can't fill out a check or a W-9 when you win something. Those guys aren't going to be where this guy right here is.
Good. Well said, Joe. But let's go back to that point, Sage, because at Cody, I thought you should have won that bull riding, and you came back and won the Champions Challenge.
So did he.
Yeah. But with that growing media attention to you, do you find that distracting or not?
I really don't. With being the champion of the world comes with attention, and I feel like it is my duty to serve as an ambassador to the sport that I love so much. And, if I can represent the cowboy world in a positive light, I love every second of it.
Well, let's get last night's ride queued up here, because the problem is you almost made it look too danged easy last night. I mean, that was ridiculous, and Donnie kind of commented on it, but let's talk about that one first, Donnie.
Well, it's a frontier rodeo bucking bull right there. His name's Aftershock, and and you'd think, well, why'd they bring him here? I mean, Sage could have had this interview while he was riding that bull. He rode him so easy, but I had to remind him, because he asked me, he said, "What is Aftershock?" And I said, "That's the bull that bucked you off at about 3 seconds in Pasadena, Texas, only about 45 days ago."
What was different this time with him, Sage?
It was really just how my start was whenever I left the box. There at Pasadena, he kind of kicked up whenever I nodded and kind of gave me a little bad go at him, really. And I was playing catch up from word go. And right here, first jump, I was in time with him and everything was good.
And that's not an excuse. That's just the reality of what exactly what happened. And because I've watched it back on video, and I'm going, it was really a kind of a funny jump. The bull actually almost stumbled. It was such a funky little deal. But you got away clean, got out clean, and that was just the opposite of what happened tonight. You didn't get out clean. The bull didn't foul you. But you weren't set like you're normally set.
Right, yeah, bull riding, you nod your head and it's 0 to 200, instantly. And that first jump is so crucial. I'd say 75, 80% of my buck-offs come from that first jump, just because you are going from complete standstill to, wide open. Yeah, there's
It's
no
hard
holdback.
to. It's hard to. Whenever I'm doing a call, I'll say things like, "If you can just get your rhythm right out of the gate." And
But you know
that's
what? This
so
is a prime
hard
example
to do.
because we did Pasadena on the road. There was not even the same. That's not the same go, that bull that you had at him. Not at all. And it just goes to show you what you just said. The first jump, 75, 80%.
And that's why they call the thing rodeo. There's so many variables, and just the little bitty inches and everything matters so much. And that's what, until you break it down and watch it in slow-mo and really, watch hours and hours of film, that's really hard for everybody to wrap their head around because there's so much going on.
Oh, the naked eye doesn't
Drop
see
of
it
a
for
hat.
sure. That they just saw Sage buck off there. And like Donnie said, because we were talking about it into the TV, and said that wasn't the same bull or the same go.
Let's take a look at tonight, and don't blink, because it happens pretty quick.
Now this
but,
this bull, to be fair here, this bull's never been ridden, never. So go ahead, Sage.
First off, it was really poor judgment on my part. That bull was leaning on the gate a little bit. And again, these aren't excuses. My performance wasn't good enough tonight. It just wasn't. I fell short. I'll put that right on my chest, it was my fault. He was leaning on the gate a little bit. I didn't get my left foot in perfect position where I wanted it. And, one that bucks that hard, he's really got a big move out of there, really moving forward. And, again, it's 0 to wide open instantly right here, rocks me back, rolls me into my hand, and it's game over from that point on. Then it's just look for a safe place to get off because there's no way you're going to stay on.
And, when you hear somebody say, standing at the bar somewhere, well, you shouldn't turn loose till your head hits the ground the second time. Well, that guy has a job somewhere.
But you could see the naked eye don't. But once you say it, you can see your left foot. It's never It's never really where you want it. And by the time you're trying to get it, it's too late. He's already just rocked back on you.
It was uncomfortable. From word go, I never was comfortable tonight. And it, like I said, it was poor judgment on my part. And it is what got me bucked off tonight. I truly do believe that. Was just not taking care of business.
Okay, so two things. One, the next time that you get a chance to get on that bull, and I hope that I'm there, and I hope that it's not at the National Finals Rodeo, because here there is so much distraction, and I don't care how many times you've been here, and everything's a rush. I mean, that rodeo starts at 6:45, and they know Sean Davis knows what's gonna happen at 6:51:23, and that's kudos to Sean Davis and the National Finals Rodeo. This is, in my estimation, the best experience of real professional rodeo in the world. I want to see you get on this bull at Cody, Wyoming, or an event where I can sit and watch. I'm not going to let you jack around. Most guys get hollered at whenever they're sitting there, and they should nod when the bull's standing good. But here, if you don't, I never, ever in my life pulled my rope until the bull was, I was certain the bull was leaving the arena. Until here. Here, you have to be pulling your rope when the guy in front of you nods your head. So he's got to ride the bull. He's got to get off. The bull's got to clear the arena. And you got to already have your rope being pulled and taking your wrap, or they're fining you $250 every single time they have to tell you to hurry up. And, and while... Okay, $250 is that's chump change when you can win 26,000 in 8 seconds.
But
it's distracting. It's in your mind, and when you're not,
you,
when everything. I mean, these are the best bulls in the world, and if you don't have everything right, you got to put it all on you, because you got to have your best stuff forward to be able to ride most of these bulls.
It's like that bull, especially. I mean, that bull's rank. You know, and it's not like Sage can't pay him $250, but it's that little we're gonna find here. It's $250. You know, you want to just stand up and hit somebody.
When you're taking your rap, and the judge is going $250, 500, and you're taking your rap, and you look up. You get off of what you're doing,
or you're not early. You know, just like Sage
or
said,
you get almost where you want to be, and you say, "Oh, to hell with it. Let's go with him." And sometimes you use the term cowboying up. I've called for some laying down. I learned not to do that right away when they were laying all the way down. But if a bull would lay down in the front end, then I would go ahead and nod, because then I had the advantage, because he has to stand up before he can come out. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't know that. But you can cowboy up, but it's all on you, because you're the one that's got to stay there for 8 and get the check.
Well, and tonight, I missed the deal between cowboying up and making a poor decision. I truly did. There's a point to where it's, nod your head. That's as good as it's going to get. Tonight, I took that too far and made a poor decision, and it cost me.
Because you could have got your foot down where you really wanted it, but you thought you were good enough to just go without it. And, and most of the time that works.
Right.
And
Sage, I want to also just brag on you a little bit. You're in the running again for the Top Gun prize money here this year. He's the only bull rider that's ever won the Top Gun award here, and the only guy to ever win it as a rookie. And you're in the running for that again, as well as the $1 million stuff. This guy.
I'll be really surprised if he's not the youngest $1 million winner in the history of the business. I'll be really surprised. I don't know how far away you are from it, but I heard Boyd running the stats, and every time he does, I have to lay down. But anyway, he thinks you're going to do it, and I just kind of hope he's right this time.
Little over, I think I'm right at like 140,000 away from breaking the $1 million mark.
Real doable here in the next 8 rounds.
Coming into it was less money than I'd ever won at the NFR is what it took to clinch that $1 million mark. And this year, I feel better about myself as a professional bull rider than I ever have still.
Okay, so I hate feeling this good. Tell me how much the most you've ever won here.
I think I won 175,000 my rookie year.
Good. Now I feel bad again. Wow.
Awesome.
$175,000 in 10 days. But I would have been somebody. They'd had to put me in jail.
Oh.
But here's the thing. There's other guys that come and they don't win a lot at all, right? But it's work ethic, it's desire, it's craving. What did you say a while ago? If I can do something to better what I love to do. And you said it before. I hate to say it probably, but there's been a time when I'd have run one for free just to prove a point. And you would have too. But that's the difference in winners, real winners, and people that just get by.
Okay, so 2-time world champion. This one is yours to win. So that's 3.
So he's after your
ass. You're still
ass.
just 22, and I can count, yes. So tell them what you have planned. We did I don't know if y'all saw the NFR preview show that we did about a month ago at Fort Worth. We had a good interview, and just tell them what you told me. That was fun.
Well, I've made no secrets about what my long-term goals are. I want to be remembered as the best ever. I do.
Oh!
And
Stab him again. Stab him.
To do that, I have to have more gold hardware than you do. I mean, you are the best ever statistically. You can't argue with that. And, I want that by my name. To do that, it's 9 world titles. But the little-known fact that not many people do, there was a couple of years there where the actual NFR average champion was crowned the world champion, and Donnie Gay would have a 9th gold buckle if it wasn't for that. So 10's the goal, just so me and you will never have any
have this
queries
conversation
about that.
about who's the best.
Don't you just love this kid?
We love him.
But seriously,
Yeah.
you know, and I can remember being, you know, Jim Shoulders and my dad would be having breakfast, and they'd be, you know, talking about getting livestock to the rodeo or something and everything, and I'd be over there just jabbering away about, you know, being the world champion bull rider and everything. He's been the same way, he's just not quite as noisy as I was, you know. And
Not quite.
Well, we see it all coming for you. We're honored to have you here with us.
Hey,
Go ahead, Joe.
But here's another deal. He could even overshadow that, because if this all-around race doesn't bring out one person that's, you know, dominant in 3 events.
On both ends of the arena, too. How cool
true,
would that be?
True all-around.
How cool would that be?
I've got them. Ty Murray's got them. We've all got multiples. Trevor's got a jillion. But guess what? The last true all-around cowboy was Phil Lyon. You know, and to me, you know, and I know you say that takes away sometimes from one event.
It makes it tougher.
It makes it tougher. But with this guy's mindset and what people don't realize, this guy ropes calves. But you try to ride broncs, we ain't into that. That's stupid. We don't want you bounced around. You know, if it's sorry calf, miss him. Don't worry about it. But this guy ropes calves good enough to get that money for the all around. And I don't think as much as and I hate to say this because I mean I got other friends in bull riders, but as much as he wins riding bulls, you know, he's going to be up there, you know, God help, and nothing happens to him at all ever.
What's your number here this year?
4, and that brings up a whole nother subject about our extreme bulls.
Because they don't
not
count.
counting.
He's number 4, and they don't count the extreme bull money as part of money won for the standings, which is wrong. You know, pure and simple. But he would be number 3 at least, maybe 2, just in the bull riding. That's how much money he's won in the bull riding. And it's not because the bull riding pays more. You know, they get more go-rounds than the calf roping. Cody, Wyoming is the largest single one-head go-round event on the planet. He has 4 performances to work at, July 1st through the 4th. Well, 2 days prior to that, our company is running slack, and I don't know how many times that roping box gate bangs down there, but they have 6 performances to rope or steer wrestle, team rope at the same amount of money as the riding event guys. So totally, there's a lot of cleanup could be done.
It still wouldn't get him that all-around buckle, but I'm telling you, he can get $3,000 in the
And if you win the tie-down roping in Cody, Wyoming, you're probably it, you know, because that's, you know, pay about
There it
Bulls,
is.
crap. You win at Cody, I'm going to send a horse. We're going to try to make the finals. That's $10,000 right there.
Have you thought about it at all, Sage?
I have. You know, I worked all the events growing up, rope calves, you know, still go home and rope on the ranch. You know, it's in the back of my mind, but, you know, glaring right now, again, I'm so focused on winning bull riding titles, and that's what's important to me right now. In the future, maybe it can be an option, but, you know, unless I've always been a firm believer, unless something is really big on my heart and what I truly, truly believe that I'm supposed to be doing at that point, there's no sense in me spending a second of my time on it, because it's wasted time, it's wasted effort. All of my mind, all of my body, all of my soul is in my bull riding right now.
Did I mention
10 buckles.
He's
That's
22 years old, 22 years old. Sage Kimsey right there. Give him a hand, would you please? Awesome.
That is a good boy right there and a great bull rider. I think he's the most talented bull rider on the planet. And, yeah, we can talk about J.B. Mooney. I hear all these stories and everything. That guy right there, I know something about bull riding. Yep. He's the best.
Awesome. Yep. Very good. All right, let's get these. Let's get these two
I love
fellas.
JB too.
I'm not going to argue.
He's a friend of mine.
That kid right there is talented, and I'm going to tell you what. Look at his riding percentage if you don't believe it.
Yep. Let's get these two fellows out here and talk some rodeo. Our show's getting away for us. We do want to remind you to stick around once we are done with the show. There's lots of prizes to give away. Right now, here is Bob Tallman, Boyd Polhamus, the voices of professional rodeo. Gentlemen, give them a hand, will you?
The Killer Bees are here.
Hello, Dad.
Killer Bees.
How are you, brother? How are you, brother? I'm good. Tell us what you think.
Now, I want to say this before we talk rodeo, because tonight the presentation that you did with the veteran who was involved in the war and Benghazi, they can talk about rodeo announcers of the year and all that kind of stuff. Nobody does that kind of stuff, Boyd, and presents it as well as Boyd Paul Hamus does.
That was a great job
Really,
tonight.
awesome.
If you weren't there, you missed it.
Yeah.
Two things, just so you know. First of all, I don't know why, okay, but I have just the deepest respect for those that have served this nation. And my dad, was in the Navy during Korea. My brother was deployed during Desert Storm when George Herbert Walker Bush had that. But again, I can't really point to any sole reason. Closest I can get is I had a lady on my college rodeo team, a goat tire and a breakaway roper and a barrel racer, whose dad was MIA in Vietnam. So when I had classes in college to do reports on, I would do reports on whether or not we as a nation left people in Vietnam, even though it wasn't part of the settlement, whatever. That's the closest thing I can get to. But Mark Geist, I met. I know him personally. He campaigned everywhere Donald Trump went. I mean, he was a huge backer of the president-elect. He's a personal friend. So tonight, I was blessed for two reasons. Let me give you some history real quick, and I'll try to be brief. I called Sean Davis, the general manager of production of the rodeo, and I said, listen, I know this guy named Mark Geist. He's the guy, if you've ever seen the movie 13 Hours in Benghazi, that said, I walked into this country, I'm walking out, even though his arm was completely destroyed. And I said, I've met him. He lives in Fowler, Colorado, right outside of where Harry Vold lives. Right outside of where Harry lives. Anyway, I had met him, and so I got to know him. We started texting. We just became friends. And so then the next thing, so I called Sean and I said, listen, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take clips of the movie and show just a little bit of what the guys in Benghazi were going through before the consulate in Benghazi got attacked, so that the people would have a understanding of what these private contractors. Now these are ex-special forces. They're Navy SEALs, they're Green Berets, but these guys that get out of the military and the CIA goes, come here. We have got people that are spying for us in Libya, and we need you to protect them. And because you're a badass, we'll pay you, okay? Well, you get back to the United States, the economy sucks, there's no jobs, you can't get a job at Walmart, and you're like, somebody, the CIA will pay me to go protect these diplomats or people acting like diplomats, and pay me, I'll go. I'll go protect them. So what happened was, and I don't want to get political on this, but facts are stubborn things. Facts are stubborn things. Ambassador Chris Stevens wrote 600 times and requested additional security for the ambassador to Libya, not only at the embassy, which was at the capital of Libya, but also this consulate. 600 times he was denied by then the Secretary of State, who was one Hillary Clinton, okay? He was denied. Now, some can argue that the sequester, which was a thing that the Congress had settled on, limited the amount of money that could be spent. But at the same time, if you look at the way the government wastes money everywhere else, man, if you're going to protect if you protect some people here, okay? So at any rate, so these guys hire out. They're private contractors, just like me and Bobby T or Joe or Donnie hire out to go MC an event. We sign a contract and we go and do our job. We just don't get shot at. These guys go and they place themselves in huge danger. So what happens is when people are doing this and die protecting CIA, which is clandestine, right? No one knows we're supposed to be there. The whole CIA annex, nobody in Libya was supposed to know it was there. But when they ran after the embassy or after the consulate got attacked, everybody ran to the CIA annex. It got attacked too. Long story short, too late for that. I apologize. There's guys out there. There's 260 Benghazis across this country, across the world, where we have clandestine spy operations, little camps, the same camps that found Osama bin Laden, so we could send the Navy SEALs in to bring him to justice. But it was a CIA camp outside of Pakistan that found Osama bin Laden. There's 260 of them across the nation. When those are across the world, when those guys die, nothing. So Mark Geis formed shadowwarriors.org in order to raise money to tend to the families of the people who leave kids and wives behind when they die. So I met him, came to Sean, said, let's do this. There were certain, won't name any names, but there's certain people in the production staff that thought that it was more a political issue than it was a service issue, okay? And then the next thing I know, Donna Keffler from Coors calls me and says, Peter Coors is all about this shadowwarriors.org thing. And don't say a thing about Coors tonight, or that night we're going to be up. She calls me about a month ago. And so I write the script that I read tonight, and I send it to Donna to present to the PRCA. The PRCA approves it. It then gets sent to Sean. Sean approves it. And so tonight, we were able to do it without any video footage or anything like that, which was my initial idea, is let's go Dark House, show bits and pieces of 13 Hours in Benghazi, the untold story of those warriors that were there. But how can you not love somebody who was told by the CIA officer in charge at the annex, you stand down? And they can hear on the radio, the people from the annex go, if you don't get here, we're going to die. If you guys don't come to we're going to die. And these guys told their officer in charge, screw you. We might die too, but we're going to go because American lives are on the line. And Ty Daugherty died, an ex-Navy SEAL. I mean,
if you haven't seen
the
film,
best
it's
of our
powerful.
country, man. That they made me so proud to be an American. They do, because they're the best. That they could have died just like the other two guys did, but they said, "No way am I standing here. I don't care if there's no money. I don't care if there's no air support. Yep. I don't care. I'm going to go and defend American lives." That doesn't make you proud.
Film, yeah. Well, and it's and maybe most of you have seen it. It's a powerful film. But my point was that stuff needs to be presented well and with respect. And my friend, nobody does it better than you. And so I just wanted to tell you we appreciate you doing that.
I'll just tell you, it is not. All I did is I tell people all the time when they compliment me on something that I've said about them, I go, tell me where I lied. All I did was tell the truth. I don't care if it's Ryder Wright, who's 18 years old and has won the first two go-arounds of the national finals in the BRONC riding. All I did was tell the truth. And the truth is it's not about me. It's about Mark and countless other people who love this nation so much that they'll bleed for it. They'll die for it. I never signed up. I didn't enlist. I just reaped the benefits of people like Mark Oz.
It was well done, very well done. And what I want to say is these guys all, talked about it with Joe earlier this evening, the charity work that Joe does, it's remarkable. Bob Tallman, tomorrow morning, people, let's talk about your bowling tournament. Bob is doing things for people, and tell people where they can go and what they can do, Bob.
Let's see, about 10 o'clock, come have some coffee or a beer, whatever you'd like. The bar will be open at the Gold
Johnny
Coast.
Cash said the beer I had for breakfast
Will that
wasn't
help me
bad.
bowl any better?
So,
I am the worst bowler on the planet.
We're going to the Gold Coast, where we all started a long time ago. And if you go park over on the east side, either valet or park upstairs, and come across the Sky Bridge, and come down and then come inside the bowling tournament, just like it is here. You'll find an escalator that takes you upstairs. Here's the cool thing. Thanks to Jackie Ferrando and Chris Chabez, a few years back, they said, you want to go do this? And I said, heck yeah. I'm involved in 3 major charities in the country, and I just learned one thing, and Boyd is equal to it. So is Joe. You too. Receiving gets old. Giving never does anything but warm me up to want to give some more. Boyd gave his guts tonight, and I stand back and marvel at him. What we're going to do tomorrow is
What is the charity, Bob? Let's
Speedway Children's Charity. We split it between that and the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund. Boyd Gaming's been big in the race car business, whether it's at the drag strip here, and we had a lot of fun in Texas when we used to go to the races with NASCAR. And I kind of got on my soapbox about Boyd Gaming last night. Involved, they spend more money than anybody else, but they do it all over the country. But when we're here, we put our best foot forward as a team, all of the 5 of us as well. And the Children's Raceway, the deal with this is these are race car drivers that have hell just like bull riders do. And cowboys with the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund. And they were raising $5,000, $10,000, and now we're getting in 3 and 4 times that kind of money. Minot, North Dakota, the Badlands Circuit Finals, has 6 teams, 24 people on that rodeo committee that are going to bowl tomorrow. The Calgary Stampede has 2 teams. Rodeo committees all across the country. Stephen Peoples has been a champion of it. Cowboys will be there to bowl. And we match them up. And here's what you come to do. Come over there with a bad attitude. I got Guido for 5 or 6 different lanes, and he'll tune you up. Nobody comes with a bad attitude. You all come with the idea. I don't care how bad you bowl, like when Donnie was learning how to play golf. And a guy hit 5,000 balls a day, and he hit 6, and he got mad because he couldn't go on that far. What did he tell you? What did he say?
He told me that I asked Tim Simpson, I said, what in the heck am I doing wrong? And he said, look, I'm trying to help your daughter, and she's got a lot of potential. He said, I don't have time to tell you what you're doing wrong. He said, but what I will tell you is you're not good enough to be mad.
Well, the same thing goes with the bowling in the morning. And a couple, 3 years ago, we had a deal where you run the ball up on kind of a pedestal, and then you pushed it off, and that was Donnie.
You know, that's the best deal.
And it runs it right down the middle.
It hit the pins.
But we had gutter boards up like the kids get to use, you know. And I'm not sure that didn't for blind people and Donnie. But anyway, he got to bowl, and it was a cool deal. We're going to raise some money, have some fun. Join us from about 10 till 2 o'clock.
I love the golf. It's just the windmill always messes me up.
I got you.
Trying to get the ball through, and the frickin' windmill keeps going around.
Hey, you asked a question last night. I went out and checked it out today. Ticket office, buy tickets for the Boyd Gaming Cinch Shootout for next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can buy tickets right here. You can buy them online. There's about 13 different websites that you can go to for Boyd Gaming, boydgaming.com, Boyd Gaming Events, Boyd Gaming Events /NFR.
And one of the things that I'm not active on Facebook. I use it kind of like a spy, just to spy and see what everybody else is doing. I don't ever post anything myself. But one of the things that I've seen is the sponsors. You talk about a partnership now. Boot Barn, Prefert, Montana Silversmith. I mean, the biggest companies that support the sport of rodeo on the professional rodeo PRCA side are also supporting this one. And that's cool. I think that's
a
awesome.
Wonderful thing. Give all of these guys a hand for me, will you please? Joe Beaver, Bob Tallman, Boyd Polhamus, Donnie Gay. Awesome, fellas. We hope you've enjoyed our show here this evening. We invite you to stick around because there are prizes to give away, and we're going to do that as soon as we do our close here. Thank you all for coming so much. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the National Finals Tonight Show at the Orleans, where all the Cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow and remind you to join us for the 100th episode on December 10th. Same time, same place. We invite you to keep the party going at the legendary Buck and Ball. Head to the Buck and Ball Saloon for live music, dancing, beer and drink specials, and best of all, no cover charge. And one more reminder, get your tickets to the Cinch Boyd Gaming Shootout Rodeo December 8, 9, and 10 right next door. Prices start at $30.